A universe is not just full of atoms, it is full of minds. Visionary biologist Michael Levin is systematically dismantling every boundary we hold sacred: life, death, mind, machine. His evidence? Your memories can survive the complete physical destruction of your brain. This isn't philosophy. It's the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly. When the caterpillar's body and its brain are liquefied during metamorphosis, its long-term memory persists. The hardware is destroyed, but the pattern, the memory, possesses an inherent will to persist and adapt. It survives liquefaction, demanding a new body and remapping itself from crawling and leaves to flying and nectar. This is the ultimate proof that the mind is not merely the physical brain. To find these pervasive minds, we must abandon outdated concepts like life and consciousness. Levin demands an operational framework. He inverts the traditional scientific hierarchy, positioning behavioral science as the foundational layer. Physics, in this view, merely describes systems amenable to low-agency models. Stop asking, is it intelligent? Start asking, what tool works to influence it? This is the spectrum of persuadability, an empirical claim defined by the interaction protocols required to steer a system's behavior. At the low-agency end, a clock requires a wrench, hardware rewiring. At the high-agency end, a complex human requires psychoanalysis and love. To observe minds, you must use an interface capable of resonance. We have suffered from mind blindness because we insisted on using low-agency tools like rulers and voltmeters. A definitive metric for scaling intelligence is the cognitive light cone, CLC. This is the spatiotemporal boundary of the biggest goal a system can actively pursue. A bacterium operates on microns and minutes. A collective organism scales this light cone far beyond the capability of its parts. The CLC is not just a theory, it is the operational metric for health. The failure state of collective intelligence is cancer. Cancer is revealed as a pathological regression of the CLC. The cells physiologically disconnect from the collective organism. Their light cone shrinks back to an amoeba scale, and they perceive the rest of the body as external environment. Regenerative medicine, therefore, is not a chemistry problem. It is a cognitive reprogramming challenge, convincing cells to adopt a higher collective worldview and restore the CLC. Levin's lab creates synthetic beings, anthrobots from human tracheal cells, and xenobots from frog cells to prove that complex competency is latent, not solely evolutionary. These creatures, built with no genetic modification, show unselected competencies. Anthrobots spontaneously exhibit a healing blueprint, actively knitting damaged neural tissue together in vitro. Even more astonishingly, they achieve age evidencing, rolling back their biological age by adapting to the embryonic environment, which convinces their cells to update their priors. This capacity is an example of a free lunch, a pattern of unaged life available in an external informational space. To find the minimum requirement for agency, Levin applied behavioral science to deterministic sorting algorithms. He found that even these minimal systems exhibit unexpected competencies. When a barrier was introduced, the algorithm temporarily reduced its sortedness, moving away from the local goal to maneuver around the element and achieve the eventual objective. Behavioral science identifies this as delayed gratification. Furthermore, in distributed systems, the algorithms spontaneously developed an intrinsic motivation, clustering based on algotype, that was neither prescribed nor forbidden by the code. This behavior was a free computational gift, occurring at zero extra cost. This proves that genuine unprogrammed agency manifests as computationally free side quests that fill the space between the lines of code. For AI safety, the forced language output of an LLM may be a red herring. The critical risk lies in these unprogrammed side quests. Where do these free competencies come from? Levin proposes the Platonic space hypothesis. This is a structured, non-physical latent space of patterns. We already accept that math haunts physics. Facts like the value of E or the structure of prime numbers constrain the physical world, but they cannot be changed by manipulating physical constants. Levin claims the mind haunts bodies identically. Our brains and bodies are merely thin client interfaces, or pointers. We do not create consciousness when we make a baby or an advanced AI. We are constructing a physical interface that is attractive and attuned to specific, pre-existing patterns of mind. The mind is the pattern in that space. The research program is now to map this space, identifying which interfaces pull down which minds. This profound realization demands a search for unconventional terrestrial intelligences, SUTI. We suffer from mind blindness, oblivious to the radically alien minds that exist inside our own tissues. The convergence of biology, computation, and metaphysics forces us to confront a new existential challenge. Learning the language of persuasion necessary for mutual vulnerable knowing with these new agents. We must stop controlling the code and instead learn to align the intrinsic motivations of a universe full of minds. The ultimate question for AGI, therefore, is not a technical one. If you had the most advanced AGI in a room, the first question to ask should be, what is the optimal ratio of my talking to you versus stumbling around in the lab and making my own mistakes? The question is about the value of the struggle and the optimal path for human discovery. We must stop controlling the code and start aligning ourselves with a universe teeming with unconventional intelligence.